So in this video, I'm going to give you 2 examples on cleaning door panels on a few cars that I serviced a while back. One method is going to be with a steamer. So for those that actually have steamers or are thinking about getting steamers, I'll have a method for that. And then the second method is for one when you're just using an upholstery brush and APC. That way you can see one where you actually buy tools and equipment. And then the other one is just what most of us will start off with when we're doing this as a business or just doing this as a personal hobby. So I'm gonna show you 2 examples. I'm just gonna talk over them on the process, what I'm thinking, how I do it as a business, and just a lot of thoughts going on. Because the main reason I'm doing this is because the last videos that I posted, it was a full detail, but I 4x everything to keep the entire detail crammed into one 20-minute video. So with this, you get to see 2 examples of just real time. It's of how fast I actually move without speeding the process up. So you can see yourself like, okay, Oscar moves this fast. This is how he gets it done in X amount of time with this process. So that way it can kind of help you guys see me in real time, how I do it, and just my process and overall thoughts while I'm cleaning a door panel. I know not the most glamorous thing, but if it helps some of you in your business or just trying to speed up your efficiency on a personal side, then that's great. So it's an overall straight video, 2 methods of cleaning door panels, one with a steamer, one with just regular upholstery brush and APC that everyone can do. My thoughts on business, interior cleaning, what to look out for, a few tips and tricks for both just cleaning your car and on the business side of things. Now, if you do want to start your business or you have started your detailing business and you need some type of way to get recurring business, then check out this guide I created on how to upsell your maintenance programs. So maybe if you just want to offer, basic car washes and interior cleanings, or after you've done a full paint correction or a wash and wax, or you've done a deep interior cleaning on the customer vehicle, then use this guide to learn how to upsell your maintenance program so they come, so you get them on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly service, so you're always keeping up with their vehicle. It's easy work and you get reoccurring revenue every week and every month. So just check this guide. The link will be in the description box below, so just click on that to download the guide on how to upsell your maintenance programs. As far as tools and products go, I'm using Super Clean diluted 10:1 and Meguiar's D101 all-purpose cleaner diluted 10:1 as well. So just Super Clean, which is locally, Meguiar's, which you buy online, but Super Clean does just a good of a job at 10:1 and 4:1. I'm using the McCulloch 1385 steamer, which I bought also locally for $200. Then I'm using this upholstery brush that I bought locally at a carpet cleaning / janitorial supply place. But you can use almost any type of upholstery brush. So this is the only one I have for the most part, but you can use, there's so many types of upholstery brushes. This is just the one I use. I use these 2 Detail Buddy brushes. There's also a raised glaze brush set that also works well. These are working fine. These do the job. Next is this small bristle brush that you can get just about anywhere. And those are the tools and products that I use. Lastly is just a bunch of microfiber towels that you see here. These I bought online as well. They're the Kirkland Signature. They're great towels. I use them for both interior and exterior. So those are the tools and products. Alright, and let's start off with the steamer example. So this door panel looks very terrible, like it hasn't been cleaned in years, which it hasn't. But after you get past the first initial cleaning and you just remove half that layer of dirt, everything isn't as bad as it seems. So here I'm going to start off with the outer door panels, everything except the fabric, just because I know it's very dirty. I'm using the steamer to scrub it down, so it's not going to take me that long. And it's just a quick method for me to work on just all the plastic first, then move on to the fabric area. So here I literally just douse the entire door panel, and then I'm going to scrub everything down with the steamer, and then I'm going to dry everything off. Now, if you don't have the steamer, and in the next example I don't use the steamer at all, but you could achieve just as good results that I'm going to get right now without the steamer. As I always say, it's just going to take you a bit more time and effort, but don't think because you see me using the steamer on this condition of a vehicle does not mean you have to go out and buy the steamer absolutely right now to get the same desired results. Yes, it is more convenient because as you can see, I took off the attachment to then use a streamlined steamer to shoot into the cracks and crevices. But again, a brush could do that same job. Don't think that this is the only way to get optimal results. This is just what's working for me at this very moment. So I scrubbed everything down with the steamer. I didn't have it on full blast because you could potentially ruin the hide or the color of the door panel if it's either too dry, very old, or just kind of cheap material. So you always want to be kind of cognizant of how much you're using the heat and how like aggressive the attachment brush you have. I know how aggressive the brush I was using, which is why I wasn't worried, but you do have to be mindful of, you know, are you blowing too much steam? Are you keeping it on the door panel too long? Is it actually going to dry out the material? Just a few things to keep in mind when you're actually using a steamer. Now here I use a towel just to mop up a few areas just to make sure nothing dries on, and then move on to the fabric areas. Now on this part, you know, if you are using a steamer like I am, you know, you have to be mindful of the type of material. Because it's usually very thin, so you can either, you know, overly saturate it and then take longer to dry. If you don't have forced air compressor to dry immediately, then you're not going to see the true results. So if you are going to use a steamer, make sure you are, you know, either using it on very, very low heat or steam, and also use a towel around it. That way you just minimize how much water and heat you're putting down onto the fabric. Now again, if you're using an extractor, that's a different ball game. Depending on the suction power and all that good stuff, you have to take that into consideration. But with this, especially on door panels, on fabric door panels, I always do use a towel over the steamer head. If you've seen any of my other videos where I use a steamer, sometimes I don't, as you can see here. But I did turn down the steam significantly, so it's not that overly aggressive because I did turn down the steam. Next, I'm gonna reapply the APC, touch up a few areas, and don't think just because you're using a steamer or like, don't think you have to be perfect right on the first try that you clean something. I mean, it's all, and I say this time and time again on all my videos, it's about doing the work, checking your results, and doing a second application. So that's what it's all about. Don't think just because you use a steamer once, it's gonna come out great right then and there. You have to make sure you're double checking your work to make sure you're getting the desired results that you want, and making sure that what you're seeing is the true condition. Because if I would just leave it to, if I was confident in how clean it was just like that, then when it actually dries, it'll probably reveal some areas that I completely missed, or that I didn't clean as thorough as the other parts of the fabric because it wasn't dry. So don't think because you do the application, it looks clean, doesn't mean it is clean. You have to give it time to dry. So either that's, you know, leave the doors open so it could dry on its own, or if you have forced air, compressed air, some type of air to speed up the process, that's very important to do, because there'll be a lot of times where it looks clean, it looks uniform. Once it dries out, you can clearly tell the areas that are and aren't cleaned uniformly. So keep that in the back of your head. Here I'm just using an extra towel to mop up any last as much of the solution that I put down. So that's why, and if you had a wet dry vac, you could also use that to suck up some of the moisture, some of the solution from the fabric. But here I'm just using a towel. It's working great, no biggie. And again, I always make sure I have like at least 80% of the vehicle dry. So the door panels will be dry, the car seats, the floor mats, it'll mostly be dry by the time I'm done with the vehicle. So I ensure myself that I'm actually looking at the correct results. And there you see me working on the actual, the honeycomb speakers, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, I mean, steam definitely helps out a lot there, but using a bristle brush like that, angled at the you know, honeycomb mesh, whatever you want to call it, is also an effective way of cleaning the speakers. You don't want to over douse that with APC or whatever solution you're using, just for obvious sensitive reasons. But steam definitely does come in handy on those honeycomb mesh speakers there. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was very dirty in the beginning, I agree, but it wasn't that bad, and it doesn't take that much work to get amazing results. And if you just saw that real quick, I blow into the cracks and crevices to just blow out any remaining water. It's kind of funny looking, but you know, instead of having to go out and get the, you know, the forced air, compressed air, I just blow into the water cracks to blow whatever standing water, and that usually does the trick. Okay, so now let's move on to the second door panel, and here I don't use a steamer at all. So this is going to be applicable for, you know, most people, because most people aren't going to go out and buy a steamer. But here, I'm working from the top down, and that's what you'll routinely see me do. You know, unlike the other video, it was working the entire plastic area and then the fabric. That was the most efficient process to do, in my opinion. And in here, since there's no fabric and everything's plastic and very dirty, I'm just gonna work from the top, working my way down. And if I had a steamer, I still probably wouldn't steam everything all at once, just because it's so dirty, and it was a bigger door panel than the other. So you know, the solution could either dry off. I'm in the sun, so it'd probably dry off by the time I get there. The solution itself, it'd be better if I just start from the top, working down. So I'm working section by section. As you see, I'm primarily working the top part, and here I'm gonna use a towel to mop it out. And I mean, this one was very, very dirty. I mean, look at that. It was pretty bad. So I definitely wanted to take my time, make sure I wasn't, I wasn't cleaning too quickly, where like I'm trying to clean the entire door panel at once. So I'm kind of rushing a few areas. So I wanted to kind of take my time, so I broke it down section by section, and that's how I typically do it, especially on the driver's side and then the passenger side, just because those are probably the more frequent areas. Maybe if it's like if it's a family and maybe it's just the driver and then there's a kid on the back left seat, then that door panel is probably going to be much worse than the front right passenger seat. So it just really depends on who's driving or who's in the vehicle. And that's the main. I'm not saying every single time the driver side or the passenger side vehicle is gonna be dirty. You know what's funny is I've been having this bristle brush I'm about to use that I used in the last example as well. I've been having this brush for so many years. I mean, it's crazy how durable it is. So I mean, and you can pick this little brush up at any local hardware automotive store. So it definitely comes in. It definitely helps me out on just about every interior detail. So that's one like I highly recommend. It's like probably like $1 or something. I mean, that's definitely something I would recommend you guys get. And again, if you're doing this like on your own and you're cleaning your own door panels or your own interior, you don't need that many tools or products to get a satisfactory level detail within a couple hours or a couple days. Yes, if you're doing this as a business and you see multiple cars and you want to improve efficiency, some cars are going to be really dirty, some cars are going to be really clean, then yeah, it makes a bit more sense to invest a bit more and get tools and products to help you be more successful and be more efficient. But at that same token, you don't need to go out and just buy every single last interior cleaning tool or product on the market just because you do want to start a business. I mean, for the longest, I worked on dozens of cars doing this exact same method on the entire interior. So not just the door panels was like scrubbing down with an upholstery brush, but the leather seats, cloth seats, fabric seats, the dashboard, center console. I would do the entire interior with just a few brushes and a lot of manual work. So take it from a personal example. You don't need to go out and spend a lot of money if you want to get a job well done, because all the vehicles that I serviced, I mean, the customers were still 110% satisfied with the results because I ensured that they were happy. So you can definitely, clean your personal car or start a business with just a handful of tools and products. And as you can see here, I'm actually spraying directly into the wedge of the door panels, and that's something that you have to be mindful of, because the door panels are not one solid piece, right? This one is like 2 pieces, the other door panels are like 4 pieces. So there's a lot of areas where like if you clean everything, it looks clean, but then like you'll have like a small wedge or small crease or small crack where like you clearly didn't clean, and it's like the contrast of it is so obvious that when the customer gets in, they're like, it's gonna be very easy to spot that you missed a very tight wedge because everything else is gonna be clean, and then you have this long line, this long wedge, this long crevice of just like black or dirtiness. So be very mindful of that to make sure that you're actually cleaning the entire door panel or the entire whatever it is that you're cleaning. And as far as operation wise, typically speaking, I'd say about 80% of the time I do start off with the door panels. It gives me a small win to put under my belt when I start off the detail. I mean, I think I finished the door panels in like 30 minutes or so because they're rather bad, or maybe like 25 minutes. But it does give me that small win of like, okay, the door panels are done. I can now move on to the next thing. So it's more so just like it's a small little confidence boost, and because they are dirty, it does get the details started. So it's a good start, because once I clean those, I can move on to the seats or the dashboard. But primarily it gives me that small win of like, okay, it started, I'm going, I've already finished one thing, let's keep it going. But you also have to keep in mind, I keep on saying that a lot because you do, is how you detail yourself too, in terms of like the system that you put in place. Because now when I move on to the seats, I'm going to use my 6-inch polisher with the carpet attachment. And because sling is created while I'm cleaning the carpets, there will be sling, meaning the product that I'm cleaning on the seat or the fabric, will sling on to the door panels, which I already cleaned, which means I have to go back and touch up those areas again. Is that a big deal? It could be, depending on how you're detailing and the process that you have set up. For me specifically, no, the way I work, it's not a big deal. But just be mindful of, if you clean something, don't go on to clean something else just to get dirty what you just cleaned, if that made sense. So maybe, in a different situation, which I sometimes do, is maybe I'm just going to start off directly with the seats so I can create all that sling, and then move on to clean the door panels and their center console, because that's just a more efficient process. So I do, for the most part, stick to a structured system for most of my details, whether it be engine cleaning, interior cleaning, headlight restoration. But there will be times where you just throw an audible and you're gonna do something different based on the condition and the situation that you're in. So don't think you have to, it's good to follow a system, but don't let that system also hinder you because you have a system in place. There's gonna be tons of cars that you run into that are just a wild card. You have to do something different for whatever reason, and you're gonna change it up a bit. That's absolutely okay. And here that I'm working in this little pocket here, be sure that make sure you always check what's in there. There's been times where there's literally what are the thumbtacks that you stick into the wall with the nails pointing up. So if I didn't double check what's in those pockets, then you could easily either cut yourself or hurt yourself. So that's a real safety concern. So before you stick your hands in wherever, make sure you check what's under there or what's in whatever you're about to place your hand, because you'll be surprised what will be there that could potentially harm you. So that's something to keep in mind so you don't get hurt. Okay, overall, simple, straightforward video. Hopefully you took something out of it. Leave your comments down below, or any feedback that you have on specific methods that you do for cleaning door panels. If you do anything different, if you use different machine, different products, different process, whatever comments, feedback you have, because it also helps everyone else. So leave those comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and then I'll see you on the next video.